Guys, welcome back to another episode of I Am I. Josh Ansley here. It's just one of those days, you know. Mama said there'd be days like this. There'd be days like this, Mama said. So I'll tell you, I don't know, I'm just gonna have a therapy session for a moment, because I've really come so far in my journey. You know, like sometimes it's hard to see. You know, this week I've been teaching about moksha, freedom, which I've done vlogs on before. And the idea that it's freedom from our own minds, from our own belief systems, from our own ideas, from our own thoughts and emotions and stuff like that. And enlightenment really is not a space where you don't feel anything. It's not where there's no pain. It's that it's moving towards no suffering. So the suffering is the story we tell ourselves about the pain. So it's hard to see sometimes, because it all needs to be processed. It all needs to be processed, you know? I firmly believe that we don't even know what we're not processing. So we can use prompts to help us find out what it is that's not processed, you know? And some of the work that we do is like, people will be like, why the fuck would you do that? Let it be, or it's done. It's not. Because it's a trigger for you. You're not living fully. I say you, me, right? It's a trigger for me, or I'm not living fully. But I say you because I don't want you to sit here and look at me. I'm not a fucking, this isn't an aquarium, you know? We're not all the same, but we are all the same. So this idea is like, I had no idea that I had all this unprocessed trauma and all this stuff that needed to come out. I had no idea, you know? And I was using things to stay away from it. You know, I used alcohol, I used drugs, I used women, I used food, I used cigarettes, you know, but none of them crazily excessively. I mean, I did have a lot of fun. But if you use all of them kind of a little bit, and it's pretty, you know, even. And now I don't really use much of anything. It's kind of all natural, you know, and when you really just open up into that space, you know, it starts with just such a fucking mess of shit, and start picking things out. It can be really hard to see. You know, now I've worked down into some really deep layers, you know, and I feel stuff coming up, and sometimes I don't know whether it's what we call character defects, or, you know, say old neural pathways firing, these just patterns of behavior. You know, even within my emotions, you know. So today, like there's a sadness. Is it this character defect? You know, because and it's hard to decipher, because there's all this stuff happening. Like, is it something that needs to be processed and come through, or am I beating myself up? Is it this character defect that's bringing me down, you know? Or is it just something that needs to be processed and gone through without letting the character defects drag me down while that's happening, you know? It's a tricky thing, you know, because there is a real sadness, you know. I look at what it might have been. I look at what it might have been was watching a video on, you know, recovering from narcissistic. I don't like to use the word abuse, but, you know, I have a tendency apparently to really pick narcissistic people and have some damaging relationships. So I was watching something on that, because it's been a recurring pattern, you know. And, you know, I will just speak frankly here. It's like, sometimes I'm like, holy shit, I really am an incredible fucking man. Like, I have so much to offer. I'm in definitely a transitional stage in my life where I don't have finances and I don't know what I'm doing, you know, and but God damn it, I'm dedicated and I work hard and I'm devotional, you know? And it amazes me that when we look at love, I don't know what love is. You know, I think I do, but when it happens, I don't know. It's like all these chemicals that happen in you, and all these responses to your conditioning. I mean, when we think about relationships, we just go with what's most comfortable, what we understand love to be from how we were raised and the way we were raised, you know? And You know, I look at the way I was raised, you know, my mother did an amazing job as a single mother, 2 kids. She didn't even know where she was fucked up, you know? She still doesn't. Not many people do. Not many people really do the work. Some people would even say, why do you keep doing so much work? Why do you dig so deep? It's like, because I want freedom. I want that moksha, you know? And so there was a lot, you know, I was a young kid that didn't know how to process these range of emotions that were happening, and you know, I'm not going to get into the fucked up things of how I was raised or whatever, or what things happened, you know, not because I don't want to share, it's just because it's a perception of a child, you know. You know, I was like thrown into a mental institution at 8 years old because I didn't know how I was acting out, because I didn't know how to speak, to trust, to feel, you know. And all that little kid wanted was to be hugged, and instead they threw him in a white padded room. But I understand, because, you know, I was acting out and I didn't know how to love. I didn't know how to accept love. And it's crazy to see now. It's like I have so much love to give. I've always had so much love to give. And when people don't even know how to accept it, we don't even know how to accept love. Most of us, we don't even know the magnitude of the power of love and what we really deserve. I mean, our nervous systems can't even handle that amount of love, quite frankly, you know? And it just, you know, it blows my mind. And so the more I have days like this where I just have to process, or there is a sadness or a grief, you know, of a loss in some way, and I don't know whether it's old or how old, you know, I just don't even, sometimes I don't even know what it is today. I just don't know exactly what it is, and that's okay, because it'll pass, you know. And I climb ever higher. Even the sadness or the grief now, it's like I can sit with it, I can meet it, you know. I don't run to anything. Although I ran to Orange Theory, and I was like, I don't even know, do I need to sit with this? Am I trying to, because now I'm just becoming addicted to like the endorphins from running and shit like that, and you know. So, but I did yoga, I'm out in nature, I did Orange Theory. I might just go to the movies tonight. Because when is it like that processing that just needs to be felt? You just need to feel all the feelings. And when is it like allowing ourselves to sit in some sort of self-loathing or self-condemnation, which I just won't do anymore. I'm too fantastic of a man. And you know what? I was always afraid to be like, to not appear humble, and to not be humble. Somebody asked me the other day, is that you don't want to appear arrogant, or that you don't want to be arrogant? What you're afraid of? But it's fear either way. Hello. I don't want to. I'm getting over giving a fuck what anyone else thinks, and realizing how much it's all their own shit. So I really don't give a fuck what you think, because I'm fucking fantastic. I'm an incredible goddamn human being. Like, I don't know, I go to a lot of spaces where a lot of people really need to hear shit, where they need to be taken to the right size, being taken down a fucking notch or two. I need to come up a notch or two, because they don't fucking make them like this. They really don't. I'm not perfect. Nowhere near that. I got so much shit to grow and learn, and always. But goddamn, I'm a fucking fantastic, talented, amazing, giving, loving, caring, honest, authentic, open, strong, powerful, loving, intelligent, wise man. And maybe I just need to keep saying that till I honestly really believe it, because I'm starting to believe it, you know? And part of it is like, as I start to believe that then this other shit, the venom, needs to be let out. It's amazing how I've let people treat me, you know? And when I talk about being raised, it wasn't just my mother, you know, it was other circumstances and other people in my life that I allowed, you know, narcissists and people to dominate. And now it just won't happen anymore, which is great, you know. But there is a sadness, there's a grief, there's a lot of loss. So this is kind of a long, just rambling, but you know how I roll. It's one of these authentic days, just being like, I'm not really sure. I'm really not sure. I've called my sponsors. And I'm just try to go to gratitude and grateful to be alive, but I don't want to pretend that it's not there. But like I said, in that space of enlightenment, it's not that we don't feel anything. We still feel the emotional pain. We still feel the physical pain. We just don't necessarily have it suffering. So if we can recognize that is of the mind, and this is good for me, to say this out there, and it's like to recognize it is of the mind, so I can just be like, okay, this is just in my mind, and this will pass. I'm living in my mind right now, but I know that there's a piece of me that is absolutely divine and pure and sacred and clean, and free from all burden. So it's just a little piece, and that piece will allow me to fucking sit through whatever I need to sit through so it can be processed and released. I mean, some people have so much trauma and so much pain. I don't know why, but it needs to all fucking be felt. It needs to all be processed and to be gotten out, and we just run from it. Why wouldn't we? Who the fuck would think that this was the way out, to sit and feel all of it? It's like insanity. I mean, I look at this now, but I know that to be true, and I know it personally. I know enough programs and enough really wise, intelligent, powerful, strong people to know that that's the way. And I can't even, sometimes I work in recovery, and I tell, it's like they don't tell people how fucking shitty it can get, how painful it can be, because if they did, they probably wouldn't do it, I can't believe the pain that I've sat through. Sometimes I'm like, I'm not even anywhere near done. Never are, right? So change our relationship to the pain. There's so much still left to process. What a gift it is just to be alive today. What a gift it is to have this breath. What a gift it is to live. In the Kesha Lakin, I am you, you are me. Namaste. What? Too much?